Hey guys, Jackie, I'm back again. Just very just right over from Chef Bob's. Yeah, 5-minute break from Chef Bob's MOMC Mahjong event. We are now here with MOMC at Heart with 2 South Africans, one in Cape Town, sort of, and one in Johannesburg, sort of. And I'm going to be making a recipe from the muddledpantry.com, which is Liam's blog, by the way, guys. So go over to the muddledpantry.com and have a look. But in the meantime, guys, make sure you say hello. Let us know where you're watching from and share this around to everyone who'd be interested. All right. I'm going to let Liam and Paul take it away because I think you guys don't need me. So all the best, guys, and I'll hop back on if there's anything.
Hey, hi, Paul. Missed you last week.
Long time.
You know what?
I was telling Jackie I was having withdrawals. Oh, hi, you're back.
Okay. I just realized I'm just going to play a quick clip from Tourism Malaysia, and we will be back shortly. Okay, guys? In the meantime, settle down and say hello. Let us know where you're watching from.
Hey, now, hey, now, that was a big applause. Hey, now, you got to see the police. We're ready to go. We're ready to go. Come on. Gotta make a move to get there right now. Somewhere nice so we can get away. Better than the ordinary day. You're my paradise. Malaysia, truly Asia.
Yay, we're back. Okay, take it away, guys. Again.
I had that jingle in my head before we started. I knew something was missing when we started this.
Yeah, if you don't have the then you don't have. It's not happening.
Yeah, exactly. How can you get going without that? So hi everybody, welcome. We're back again. Myself, Liam, Paul over that way. Sorry, camera's wrong way. And yeah, we're making green curry today, which is exciting. Yeah, we all know green curry, and possibly, and no one shoot me for saying this, possibly the most famous curry in the world. Sorry, Malaysia, but it's ubiquitous. It's everywhere. It's often what most people, often their first curry they ever try. Sadly, given it's so popular, it's often very mangled and really quite far removed from the actual original version. So this is our attempt to sort of do a really nice, authentic flavor with whatever we can find to do it. And yeah, and Paul, this is your.
Yeah, I was gonna say, depending on where you go, it could be called that, but it's totally not that dish. You know, totally like there's so many places in South Africa you go to, and it'll be some sort of, you know, I can't even describe what it is, but you know, it's just a bit of liquid in some meat, and it'll be called.
It is with a little tinge of green. Yeah. But the sad thing is that it's a perfect example actually of how you can actually. So we're going to make our own paste today. We're actually going to do that, but it's actually this is a good example of how cooking technique can actually trump having a store-bought paste. So, you know, we're going the extra mile today by making our own paste, but if you can get a good quality ready-made Thai paste, you can actually follow what we're doing and still get a really nice flavor. Because I think a lot of people think if they buy an instant paste, they just have to throw it in the pan, let it all boil together, and you'll great dish. You'll get a flavorsome dish, but you won't get a great dish. So this hopefully is just a little step up. And like I said, if you've got a store-bought paste, not a problem. Some of them are amazing, some not so. But yeah, if you follow a few simple techniques, you can go a long way and upstyle it completely. So Paul, I don't know where you are with your prep. As you know, I've prepped. I've prepped myself to within an inch of my life.
Everything is just here in containers.
Perfect. So, yeah. Absolutely perfect. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do. Hi, Rose. Hi. Thanks for joining us. So the first thing we're going to do. The dish is in 2 parts. Paul, I assume you read the recipe. It's got a long recipe. So the recipe is on the Muddle Pantry, my blog. So if you look through the ingredients, firstly for the paste, don't freak out if you can't get everything. You know, there's a couple of things you can leave out. My version on the blog is very much a wish list. If you've got it, you've got it. If you don't have it, don't freak out. There's a lot of things even when I was making these names, like, no, can't make that, can't add that. Not worried about it in the slightest.
I can see what's on your take a lot wish list.
So the first thing we're going. So as I said, this is a recipe of 2 parts. So what often happens with Thai curry, which a lot of people don't know, and it's not always a given, but often what happens is the meat is cooked separately from the actual curry paste, and then the cooked meat is then added to that paste. I do the same technique with my Massaman curry as well, and it just somehow sort of it gives you a much more flavorful dish, because we're going to cook the chicken in a mixture of coconut and some aromatic stuff first. So, like I said, 2 parts. So we'll start with the first part, which is the chicken. So what have we got, Paul? Where's your chicken? Let me see it. Hi. Awesome. Good.
Yeah. I think 4 thighs. You think that's enough, or?
Yes. Yeah. Look, again, the recipe is quite adaptable. It will make quite a bit of paste, so you can add as much chicken. I'm actually using quite a lot of chicken. So this is my chicken that I'm using. I'm using about just under 1 kilogram's worth, solely because I'm on a mission of mercy. So my curry is actually being farmed off to various people after the show today. Some friends who are moving, some people whose chief cook is away for a few days. So yeah, I'm giving mine away once we're done, with a little bit left aside for me, of course.
Yeah. How's this? I got chicken thighs, and beneath the label, there's an extra little drumstick.
Oh, they slipped one in. Oh, how funny.
I'm not going to complain.
No, you know what? A leg never hurt anybody. So are you keeping yours on the bone?
What are you doing? If you're taking it off, I'm taking it off.
Yeah, well, I've got deboned, but you don't have to by any means. You can keep it on the bone. What I would just recommend you do is you just maybe cut a couple of scores going across the skin horizontally, just again, so that for time's sake, it cooks through much quicker.
Cool. Let's just, I think you guys can see from here. Let's just move that across. Scored 2 drummies over here.
Hey.
There.
Well, I like how you see the
label. Can't say no to drummies.
Was it actually sold to you as just chicken thighs?
Yeah.
Cheeky. That's cheeky. It always just shows you. Always just peek beneath the label, because you never know quite what you're going to get. Although this could be a particularly South Africanism. Yeah.
Probably.
Times are hard. Gotta slip in a leg.
Yeah, I've got to show a bit of leg.
Now the other thing too is that this dish also works very well with pork. If you have some very thinly sliced pork neck steaks, that works really well. But chicken thighs are your best bet. I mean, really, you want something that's not going to dry out too much. Like I said, because it is a two-part cooking process.
Yeah, so no breasts.
No breasts. Well, you can. No, you can do it. I think if you're going to use breasts, you're just going to reduce the cooking time slightly. And I'm a great believer too. If you've got a skinless breast or chicken breast, give it a good bash first with a meat mallet, and then actually just cut. I'd like to cut mine on the slight diagonal as well, just so that you cut through the fibers a little bit. So when it does cook, it doesn't seize up quite as much, which I think a lot of mistake people make when they use breast is they just put it in as it is or slice it as it is, and those fibers just tend to shrink a lot. And yeah, so if you give it a little bit of prep work, you can use breasts if you need to. But if you can get thighs always first prize.
Okay, there's our thighs. Check what I got here. White peppercorns.
Hey, you've been shopping. Oh, my goodness, those are expensive peppercorns. But you don't need many of them, thank goodness.
Yeah. Okay, so what's up? What are we doing next? Okay,
so the first thing I'm going to do is I've got a 2 woks. So we're first going to put on our first one. So I'm just going to bring this up. Okay, so
we'll take out a
let me just run you quickly through our ingredients first as my wok heats up slightly. So for the first process, obviously we've got our chicken. We've also got our some outer husks of the lemongrass. So I've reserved my lemongrass for the paste, and for extra aroma and flavor, we're using these in the actual cooking process for the chicken itself. I've got 1 red onion or shallots if you can get it. I've got a little piece of cinnamon, not too much, just a small piece. I've got a couple of pieces of dried galangal. If you've got fresh, again, by all means, add it. And I've also got a couple, about 3 green cardamom pods, which I've just split slightly just to get the flavor out. And also about half a tablespoon of fish sauce. So before we get started, I forgot, we've just got to chop up one of our red onions or our onion. So I'm just going to very roughly chop it. The onion will actually be going into the dish, into the paste once we've got to that stage. So cut it about a medium chunk. You don't want it to disintegrate completely, but also you just got to keep in mind what it's like in the finished dish. So we're just going to take those off.
I'm just using regular brown onions because for some reason we're out of all things onions except brown onions.
I know. Again, in South Africa, we're also very seasonal too. So if we run out of something, I'm afraid you've just got to make do with what you can get. So I'm just going to cut these into my chunks like that. Okay. Simple as that.
Just get a container.
Add that to my aromatics. Okay. So while Paul's just doing that, I'm just going to start with my chicken. So I'm just going to put my wok back on. So we're going to cook it in some coconut milk and coconut cream. So I've got a nice wad of coconut cream. If you battle to find coconut cream itself, sometimes if you're lucky, they may not seem like it's lucky, but if you get tins of coconut and if you shake it, if it doesn't shake as if there's liquid in it, it means that the coconut cream is actually solidified at the top. So you can actually just pour away the water and get the coconut cream out of it. So sometimes you don't always have to buy specifically a coconut cream tin, which can be quite expensive. And also you tend not to get very much in it. It tends to be about half this quantity that you would get in a small tin. So I'm just going to add about half of this to my wok.
So we're adding half a cup of the coconut cream.
Yes. Okay. Just going to turn it down slightly. Okay. Just again, if you can't find coconut cream, by all means, just use regular coconut milk. It's not a problem either. This will just give you a slightly richer finish. Okay, so it immediately loosens up. Okay, just going to move my woks around. Okay, so I'm just going to bring this up to a quick boil and just let it thicken for a few seconds. I must say, I don't know why I have this sinking feeling my gas is going to run out today. I've been telling myself it's going to run out every time I've done one of these things recently, and it hasn't. So I think it's going to come back and bite me. Okay, so my coconut cream is coming up to a boil just a little bit. I'm going to add. How's your gas going?
It's getting there. Thankfully, mine's pretty fresh because 2 weeks ago it got full.
Okay. Well, it depends on how much cooking you've been doing between now and then.
Enough, but I mean, I'm not obsessed.
Well, I'm assuming you're cooking fabulous Malaysian food in between our shows every night.
Always. Basically, yes.
Okay. Mine's bubbling away.
I got the gas is on.
I'm going to add my fish sauce. I'm going to add my chicken.
Oh, yeah, fish sauce. What do you think of this brand? I don't know if you've ever seen them.
Yes, you know what? If that's what you can get, then that's what you can get. Look, there are obviously different brands and different qualities, which all have different attributes, salty, less salty. But to me, them are just half a tablespoon for this part.
Yeah.
You don't want to over season it at this stage. But to me, fish sauce, again, nobody shoot me, it's fish sauce. I mean, I have a lot of fish. I have some Vietnamese fish sauce, Thai fish sauce, and some Korean fish sauce. And whilst I try to stick to the right cuisine when I'm using it, push comes to shove, no one's really going to know. Just going to check how salty it is. Okay, so whilst Paul adds his chicken in.
Don't tell the aunties. Yeah, I was going to say, just don't tell the aunties you're going to get it.
Yeah. Pearly, if you're watching, I do apologize.
You put your lemongrass already in?
Yes, so no, remember you're just adding this outer skins of the lemongrass, not the lemongrass itself. So I'm just going to add my lemongrass, my onions, my cinnamon, galangal, and a few green cardamom pods. Again, green cardamom pods, just give them a light bash beforehand, just so that they actually bring out the flavor. Okay.
I have somehow misplaced my cardamom pods, and I can't think where I put them.
Okay, I'm going to add about half. I'm now going to also add about half a tin's worth. So it's about 200 mils of regular coconut milk.
Okay, out comes the other one.
There we go.
Where is? You know, I seem to misplace things as I'm busy using them. Like, what is going on here?
You see, that's the power of prep. Vindicated. No, but it also is. Often when you are going to cook, it is worthwhile, and it's not always possible because people are busy. But if you can actually put out what you need, work it out from the recipe, it makes your life so much easier. Because as you're going through a recipe, sometimes you're jumping around, you're not always seeing what you need, and if it's all ready for you, it's done. It does make your life much easier. Don't use as many plates as I use for prep, because unless you've got a dishwasher or a handy person in the kitchen that's going to do it all for you, don't.
A dishwasher or a dishwasher.
Dishwasher or a dishwasher, precisely. But either are essential. Both or either. Okay, so
I love how the coconut milk the coconut milk I bought is basically as thick as the coconut cream.
You see, now this is what I was saying. So again, it actually congeals at the top, and there's nothing wrong with it. If you get a tin like that and you're going to use it as coconut milk, just pour it into something and use a whisk just to get it all smooth again. Often a lot of people get a tin like that and they'll think, oh my goodness, it's gone off. No, it really hasn't. It's a natural phenomenon, and sometimes it just separates out.
I feel like there's something missing in here. I've got lemongrass, galangal, fish sauce, the chicken.
Cinnamon stick.
Oh, yes.
There we go.
Where did I put that? There it is. Today's going to be the where did I put that episode.
How about beef? Liam? Oh, yes. Well, Rose, actually, yes, beef is something that we do want to use quite often. A lot of the time, we haven't really done beef dishes solely because of the length of time it can take to cook. Like, this is why you've never seen us make a rendang before, although I have been hatching a plan to make a mince rendang. I'm being controversial today. But yes, so we love to lamb as well. Although we did use lamb a couple of weeks ago when we made our lamb bunny chow, and that turned out wonderfully well, I have to say. That lamb was really good.
Yeah.
Hi. Thanks, we're happy to be back again. Although I hope you catch Paul's solo effort last week.
Yeah, I tried quite hard. What did I make again?
Chicken curry.
Oh, yeah, that was a good chicken curry. Jackie's Malaysian chicken curry recipe.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm just leaving my chicken.
Any of those?
Sorry?
Lime leaves or ginger, any of those going in here now?
No, not yet, no. They're going to go into they're going to be added with the chicken when we add that to the cooked paste.
Okay, no, I couldn't remember because there's just so many ingredients. I can't remember what went where.
There are, and unfortunately, a lot of the ingredients go into the different parts of the dish. So there will be lime leaves going into the paste when we get to that in a minute, but there's also lime leaves that are going to be added to the overall dish, as it were. So I'm just going to bring my chicken up to a simmer. Now, the idea is to simmer your chicken down until most of the liquid has been absorbed. So we're going to end up with almost like a really nice sticky chicken at the end of it. But just be careful, obviously, that the chicken doesn't burn and that the coconut milk doesn't burn either. So just a nice little medium simmer. Just keep an eye on it. Give it an odd prod now and again.
Mm-hmm.
Then in the next part, the paste. Okay. So if you didn't catch us earlier, I was saying that the paste, if you guys really can't make your original paste, and I mean like your own paste, or you can't be bothered making your own paste, totally understandable. And you can get some good quality ones out there. Hi, Pearly. Hi, thanks for joining us.
Hello.
So
okay.
So we're going to make our own. I have to say, this dish was actually born out of frustration from a lot of Western cooks who seem to think that Malaysians spend their lives, or Asians spend their lives, making our own pastes, which nothing could be further from the truth. If you live in Malaysia, you either go and buy a paste from a supermarket, or you go and buy a paste from the local market, wet market. And, I mean, yes, of course, we do get fresh paste, but we don't generally make it ourselves because it's a lot of work. There's a lot of ingredients. So, why would you? You've got this great guy who's been making it for 50 years in the market. You're going to buy your paste from him. And what often happens is you go to the man or the lady who's making the paste and you say, okay, I'm making chicken for 6 people. Da, 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 da. He works out all the proportions, puts in a little bag, and off you go. But yes, sadly, we don't have that benefit. So we're stuck to making our own.
Okay. Next is, where are we heading now, or we're just waiting for chicken to simmer?
We're going to start with our actual paste itself. So,
okay.
The first thing I'm going to do, Paul, are you using whole spices or are you using ground spices? That's the first question.
I'm using whole spices.
Whole spices. Okay. So the first thing we want to do is we just want to toast off our spices slightly, just to cook them through a little bit and get the aroma going. It also helps because you're drying them out slightly. It also helps when we grind them together. I'm hoping you have the ability to grind something. I'm using my pestle and mortar.
I'm just going to chuck. Oh, yeah, I can use a pestle and mortar. Hold the phone. Just let me find one. I was going to say, can't we just chuck it in with the food processor?
No, not really, because what happens is that the food processor won't actually grind it down. So what you'll end up with is actually little bits of seeds inside the paste. So ideally, if you don't have a grinder, it's best to actually use pre-ground spices or herbs. Sorry.
I got the pre-ground spices and herbs, but I don't know the taste. I like the other.
Yes, the taste is certainly more superior if you use whole spices first. It's just the case that in terms of consistency with the paste, you have to basically grind them down a little bit first, or as much as you can. So you do end up with a powder at the end of it. Otherwise, like I said, you get this unpleasant sort of occasional bite of a coriander seed, which can sometimes spoil the effect a little bit. So
I know I've got a mortar and pestle somewhere, but I haven't actually looked.
Okay, well, you have a quick squiz for it. I'm just going to, very South African, a quick squiz. Well, you have a quick look for your pestle and mortar. I'm just going to run through what we've got for our paste ingredients.
Kind of custom machine.
It's up about dropping it. Okay. So, first things first.
Looking for a pasta maker?
Always noodles. Okay, so I've got a red onion. Again, red shallots would be ideal. A red onion or even a brown onion, not a big deal, but one small onion. I've got some fresh ginger. I've got my inner parts of my lemongrass. I've got some cloves of garlic. I've got 3 green chilies. Now, again, the chili really comes down to your preference. Like I said before, I'm actually giving this away to some people afterwards. So I'm not going full on with my Thai chili, because as we know, if you have Thai level chili hot, most people can't really cope with it. Very excitingly, I've got some fresh lime leaves, actually from my garden. I managed to find a Thai lime tree. So I'm very, very excited about that. Obviously, we've got some coriander. If you've got coriander root, by all means use it. It will add a lot to it. But if you don't sweat too much. Other tip about your coriander too, make sure you wash it very well. Really, really go to town with it, because you don't want any grit in your paste. That just kill it. So, so we've also got some turmeric and a little bit of shrimp paste. Again, I'm using paste, but if you just got balachan, that will work too. And then our spices, we've got some coriander, some cumin, and again, a couple of 3 or 4 green cardamom pods. Also, a little bit of ground nutmeg, as well as some white peppercorns. Again, if you don't have the whole versions of these, by all means, substitute it with ground ingredients. It's really not a problem. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to toast off my corn spices. Okay, now this is something, again, you just make sure you don't wander off when you're doing this, because you don't want to burn them. You really just want to lightly toast them. Okay. So let me just give my chicken a stir at the same time, just so you can see what's happening with my chicken. Lime, I know, I love my lime leaf rows. So I cannot tell you how excited I am to have fresh lime leaves in my garden. I usually buy them from the local Thai shop in Cape Town, and it's a very small little precious bag, and I'm usually very, very careful about how many I use. To go out in my garden and just pick them off, it's going to be so good. And of course, the fresher the better. Okay. Now, if you can't get fresh leaves, don't stress about it. You can omit them from the paste itself and just add some dried ones later on to the overall dish. You won't get quite as much flavor, but it's still worth adding. Okay, so I can smell spices.
Okay, what are we roasting? It's the coriander, the cumin.
Cumin, coriander, and some of those elusive cardamom pods, if you found them.
I don't know where they've got to. Like, I swear I remember taking them out.
You'll find them after the fact.
Exactly. That's exactly how it's going to go down.
Okay. So that's literally all I'm going to do with that. I can smell it. Oh, it's potent. Okay. So I've got my wonderful pestle and mortar. Now, ideally, you want to let these just cool down for a few seconds, solely because whilst they're still hot, they'll generate steam. So if you start grinding it straight away, it will release the steam and it will kind of mess up your powder a little bit. It doesn't affect the flavor so much, but it can just get a little bit messy. But not long, just a little bit. Again, the pestle and mortar will actually take quite a lot of the heat out of it. So I'm just going to reach in, grab my whole cardamom pods, and I'm just going to open them up and let those seeds
Yes, Rose, I was cooking rice there. It's going to go back on after I'm finished with the spices.
Okay. I was wondering what that pot was in the corner. Okay. And then to this, I'm going to add my nutmeg and my white peppercorns. Okay.
Why do we use ground nutmeg and not whole nutmeg? Well, yeah, you won't really be able to roast it, would you?
Oh, Pearly likes your pan.
Oh, thank you. It's cast iron. It's actually, I bought it at a fishing shop. Of all the places.
Oh, okay.
I think it was like
so I'm just going to give mine a bash. So what I'm going to give it a bash, and then after that, then I'm just going to, if you've got a pestle and mortar, I'm just going to run it around the side rather than actually trying to bash it at the bottom. Ultimately, you want a grinding process, not a smashing process.
Do you want to see my homemade mortar and pestle?
Go on, let's see it. Hey.
And at the bottom of a ketchup bottle. Hey, gotta make it work.
Ingenuity. We love it. Absolutely.
You can see which university I went to. The engineering one.
Okay, so just like that, all done. Show you guys what I ended up with. So that's my spice mix in there. All done. As fine as you can get it, go for it. Okay, so let's just watch Paul do his ketchup bottle and glass. Again, you are definitely not pounding, by the way. Unless we're going to start from scratch, definitely don't pound.
I don't know why this camera's at like a weird angle. Okay, so long as you can see it.
Yeah, no, we can see it. So tell me, have you tried this version of a pestle mortar before?
You betcha.
Okay,
hey, I was a student not too long ago. Okay, are we all ready to see what happens here?
We are, with bated breath.
Okay.
So is this actually, do you actually keep this ketchup bottle specially for this?
No. I don't understand
so
how
you
it
can
actually
keep
got in
a
the
random
cupboard.
bottle, empty bottle.
I don't know how. I just saw it in the cupboard, so I was like, hey, this is going to work.
You know, this is a perfect example. You know, again, you use what you can use. If you've got it, and yeah, there's as to say, there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it doesn't always necessarily. We're not about finding ingredients to sort of replace. We also find utensils to replace.
Absolutely. Look, we did upgrade Paul with a spatula many months ago, which was a triumph for all of us. So next thing is we need to shave him into a pestle and mortar.
Yeah. Actually, I should have gone one when I was at Chinatown last week. Anyways.
Oh yeah.
Can you hear this?
Well, funny enough, I actually bought this beast. I actually bought in London when I was on holiday once, and I was like, I don't need chocolates. I don't need English tea. I'm bringing home my giant pestle and mortar instead.
I don't need postcards of the London Eye or Big Ben.
No, straight off to Gerald Street in Chinatown and stock up on things.
There we have it. Pretty decent, if I say so myself.
Very good.
I suppose I might have actually done a better job like this than you do with your actual mortar and pestle.
Quite possibly. Very possibly. Okay, so we're just going to chop up our ingredients for our paste. So first things first. Now, unlike the first lot, we want to cut this slightly finer. Not too fine, but just so that it blends nicely. Okay.
Yeah, is this the onion that's going in the paste, not the other onion? Oh, shallots.
So I said again.
What are we busy doing now? Onion.
So we're going to chop up our onion to add. So we're going to start with our paste ingredients. So if you just chop up your onion or your shallot, if that's what you've got.
Yeah. This is a separate onion from the other.
Why we're not using shallots? They're quite Asian shallots are non-existent in our neck of the woods in South Africa, and we do sometimes get French shallots, which will work as well, but it's very seasonal. So sometimes you can't get them. So sometimes if you want, you can also use a mixture of red onion with a little white onion or brown onion, or just straight brown onion will work fine as well.
You'd think that when the Huguenots came here, they would have brought their damn shallots.
You would think. I think they had bigger issues than mine.
Like religious persecution, maybe.
Yeah, I say persecution does tend to let you forget about essentials like shallots. Okay, so I'm just going to add that. Okay. One thing though, I wouldn't, when you're going to make your paste, don't add your ground ingredients first, because what will happen is the blade won't always pick them up. So I'm just reading the comments.
Cool.
Absolutely.
What can I say, Sid?
Sid says your pestle and mortar reminds him of the gods must be crazy. Where do you think he got his inspiration from, Sid?
Something South African.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was going to say, don't put your ground spices in first, because if you have a bottom blender, it will just push the spices around. So rather add wetter ingredients at the bottom, or larger ingredients, so that the blades have something to get hold of, and then it will actually blend a lot better.
Okay, what's going into the spice paste again? It's like a 14.
Okay, so we've got our onion next to some garlic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the other thing with this paste too, is that you can always make a lot of it and keep it. You don't, it will keep in the fridge for a while. So if this seems like a lot of work for one curry, it doesn't have to be. You can actually make it in advance, like most pastes, and it will keep. This one in particular, because we're not actually adding like prawns or shrimps to it or anything like that, other than the shrimp paste, but that's preserved.
Shrimp paste. What's the tar shrimp paste?
2 to 4 cloves.
Yeah. What's the difference between tar shrimp paste and tar belacan?
The Malaysian belacan is a little drier. Firstly, it tends to come in blocks, and typically we have to actually translation. We have to bakar it, so we have to basically dry fry it to get the aromas out. You can use it raw, but generally with Thai paste, that's not really a problem. You just buy the jar and use it straight out of it. One thing you cannot substitute though is Chinese shrimp paste, which is very wet. It's a very different proposition.
Okay.
So I'm going to roughly chop my garlic.
Yeah, because the funny thing is that belacan that I have in the cupboard is made in Thailand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's very much like Malaysian belacan in terms of texture.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the ones I've bought in the past, like I said, they do tend to be much wetter. So, okay, and I've got my ginger, which I know I've said this before. Ginger, teaspoon, best way to actually
just one thing
peel it. Just going to run it over. Okay, it's off. I actually got a rather large piece of ginger here, so I don't think I need all of it. So I'm just going to do half of it.
I just lost connection there. Can you guys still see me, hear me?
Yes, I can see you. Well, I can see your blender.
Okay.
Maybe you should just wave your hand in front of the blender to know we. Ah, there you are. You're still here.
Hey, I might not be human. A robot might have taken over.
Okay, so ginger again. I'm just going to roughly chop in.
Yeah, it's the green chilies going in, right?
Yep, green chilies. Again, seed it if you want to. Don't seed it if you don't.
I got balls. Again, I can do this.
Chili content really just comes down to your own personal flavor.
Yeah.
But I assume you and your dad are getting good at hot food now.
We've been good at hot food. I mean, we're originally from the Durban area, so.
Of course, yes, I forgot. Yeah, so in case people don't know, Durbanites, people from Durban, born, bred, and curry. Love their curry. Can't get enough of it.
Why do you think bunny chow became one of the options we suggested?
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm just going to chop up
now. I don't know.
That's similar to the one. Yes, that's the same one I've got as well. So the ones you get in Malaysia typically come as a block, like a little brick almost, and you just slice pieces off, and you can toast it that way.
Oh, is that what Jackie's recipes always say? Like slice 2 centimeters or something.
Yes, precisely. Yeah, you don't normally get it in little jars like that. Okay, and then my lime leaf. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut out the rib in between. Now, if you use the fresh lime leaves in this, you want to make sure you cut it quite smooth.
Is this enough lime leaves?
I think that is enough lime leaves, definitely. Oh, now, the best thing about lime leaves, as you cut it, that smell. The smell always reminds me of ota ota. Oh, one of my favorite dishes.
That's still something on my list to make.
Ota ota. Oh, Pearly has the best recipe. Fail-proof. Love it.
I know. I've seen it on that thing.
So what I've done, is I've just folded over my fresh leaves into like a little packet, and I'm just going to cut it really thinly.
I'm just chucking it in. Just taking off the rib though.
Okay, I'm just going to add that to my things. Okay, and then lastly, we've got our coriander, which I recommend trying to chop relatively finely. especially if it's coriander leaves that have got stalks in it, because you want the stalks to be as small as possible. And again, the blender will only do so much. So again, whatever you can do just to make life easier on the blender, you'll end up with a better dish.
Yeah, it ain't a miracle worker.
Yes, although I'm convinced that one day when my dream is fulfilled and I get my Magimix blender, I'll be able to throw in everything whole and it will just magically come out amazing.
Hey, one day we're going to win Thermomixes.
Yeah, if Magimix is watching, hi. I'll plug the heck out of you.
I got approached. I actually got approached this morning for my hiking channel to use this product. They're going to send me some free product.
Awesome.
So it's not far from reality.
Okay, I've just run my knife through it. I'm not going mad with cutting it too fine, just enough to cut up the stalks. So I'm just going to add that to there. Okay. Now that is basically the paste. That's all that goes into it. Like I said, if you are lucky enough to have some coriander root, by all means add it.
Yes,
just
I do.
again,
Where did I put it?
Have you got coriander root?
I do, but now I don't know where I put it.
Oh, okay. If you've got coriander root and you can remember where you put it, add it. But just again, make sure you wash it really well and chop it very finely as well.
I found it. It's not a lot. It's really not a lot.
And I almost forgot my spices.
Can you even see it? Can you even see it over here? That's how little it is.
Oh, bless. Oh, my goodness. Okay, those are very babies.
I know. The thing is, I had to pull the plant.
Very early on. Okay, so this is all my spice mix, my paste ready. I'm just going to add a little bit of oil to it just to get the blender going.
Let me just make sure I've got everything. I've got the...
Okay, no, run through it. What do you got?
Onions, chilies, belacan, coriander. Actually, let me just do this little shake so that I can put the spices on top. The spices.
Awesome. Have you got your ginger?
Ginger, whole ginger.
Well, yeah, just a little. I've used about half a piece. Yeah.
And nutmeg, right? Nutmeg goes in this one.
A little bit of nutmeg. Yep, about just about an eighth of a teaspoon. Be very careful with nutmeg. You can't overdo it, but it does add a lovely flavor.
And then you said ginger. Okay, I got that going over here.
Okay. Now, once again, I'm adding my turmeric and my shrimp paste after the fact. Once my paste is blended, simply because I don't want to contaminate my blender. Turmeric, as we all know, is going to be everywhere.
I was going to say,
I like to use. I used to use water a lot. I've started using oil rather, simply because I find water tends to actually steam your paste rather than fry it. So I find it you get a much better result if you add oil rather. Just make sure, obviously, that if you add oil to the paste, bear in mind, keep that as a factor when you add the oil to fry it in, because obviously there's already oil in it, so you don't want to add too much. Otherwise, you're going to get a lot of oil. Okay, so where's my oil going? So I'm just going to add much. You can always add a bit more. Now, I'm going to stick with it. I find it a bit better.
Yeah. You can always add oil, but you can't take it back.
But I'm actually going to add a little bit more.
I will be doing the same.
And that's it. So
I could probably do with another. I think I'm going to go with another spoon. Let's see what yours
I
looks
think
like.
do you have any more? Do you have any more coriander?
I do. Should I add more coriander?
Okay, add more coriander. See, if you look at how verdant and green mine is, yours is looking a little brown. So you need, we get like little packets of coriander here. I think they're about 60 to 40 grams. I use at least 1 punnet, basically, for this amount of paste.
Oh, but that much. Okay, well, more goes in.
Yep, throw it all in. The clue's in the name, green curry. We want it to look as green as possible.
Who'd have thunk it?
I know.
I could definitely blend up a little more. Sheesh. This
Yeah.
thing's really not blending that much today, is it?
Okay, well then put in a bit more oil. Now see, this is also why I like to use a hand blender, because it gives you more control. So with a hand blender, you can move it around the pot and actually try to make sure you get to those bits. And also a good tip too is that when you use your hand blender and it's inside the paste, is lift your hand blender up and down a couple of times, which will actually create a little bit of suction in the sauce, which will actually move the ingredients around a little bit more. Because the problem often with food processors like Paul, it pushes it all out to the side, so you have to constantly be scraping stuff away.
Turn around. Okay. So paste ready.
Okay, right. So we're going to add some oil. Again, I haven't preheated my pan because we don't want to burn the oil. So I'm just putting it on a medium heat. Let's bring this up here. And whilst it's still relatively cold, I'm going to add my paste to it.
Whoopsie. I did not hit the camera with the
add
wok.
it to a wok that's not too hot, simply because you don't want to burn your paste. That. Okay. So immediately already I can start seeing the bubbles are starting to form on the side.
Bubble.
Then I'm going to, now don't forget you need to add your shrimp paste if you haven't already done so, which I think you did, and your turmeric as well. Just going to add that in. Okay. And I'm just going to press down on my shrimp paste just to get it to actually soften and mix in with the prepared paste. Okay. So now, in the meantime, let me show you what's happening with my chicken.
How much turmeric?
A teaspoon is fine.
Okay.
So if you look at my chicken, the sauce is reduced down quite a lot, and the chicken is virtually cooked through as well. So that can just sit there for a while. I'm just going to turn my curry paste down. Okay. So while Paul's quickly this is going, the things that we're going to add to this paste once it's cooked through. So once we've got the paste and the oil separated out, I suddenly just forgot something. I forgot something. Hang on a second. We want to add a little bit of we want to add the rest of our coconut cream to this as well. I've got quite a lot, so I'm just going to add about half of this.
The coconut cream to the curry paste? Coconut cream to
the paste, yeah.
Okay.
Just to the paste. Okay. We will be adding more coconut in a minute once it actually starts to separate out. So while Paul's doing that, once our paste is ready and we've added our coconut milk stuff to it, we'll be adding chicken to it, as well as we're going to add a little bit more fish sauce. We're also going to add some extra lime leaves, whole lime leaves, and if you've got them, some green peppercorns. Now, in Thailand, you can buy green peppercorns still on the stick, which is wonderful. So you end up with this gorgeous little branch of peppercorns, which you put inside the sauce, and you can basically put it in your mouth and pull off all the peppercorns, which is really delicious. Hi, Sebastian. Hi. Thanks for joining us. We'll never have too much coriander in green curry. Funny enough, coriander is very divisive. I know people who cannot stand the stuff. Other people who love it. It's one of those things that some people taste soap when they eat it, which I can understand. I get it. It's a bit like eating marzipan. I don't understand how anyone can eat marzipan and say it's nice.
That's delicious. I love marzipan. Get out of here.
So awful. Okay, so again, we're going to scrape the sides, flip it over, just making sure we don't actually burn it. And now see, already I can start seeing the oil starting to separate slightly on the sides. So in addition to our lime leaves and green peppercorns, which if you can't get the green peppercorns, don't worry too much about it. I'm going one step further. I'm actually adding some cut green beans to it. Now, the reason why I do this is, I know, well, you see, the reason why I do it is that a lot of times people, when I give people green curry to take home or whatever it is, they just eat the green curry, which is not a meal. I'm sorry, that's not a full meal. So I like to slip in some green beans in there just to add a little bit of vegetables and make it a slightly more complete meal. You can add a number of things. Green beans I like because they hold their shape quite well, because we're going to add them about sort of 10 minutes before we're finished. Otherwise, some thinly sliced cabbage could work. But it's by all means not essential, and traditionalists would be having a fit right now. But like I said, I'm making my stuff aftermarket, and I know I'm going to give it to people, and they're literally going to eat curry and rice, and I can't in good conscience let them do that. Let me just show you what's there. Okay. So my chicken is almost dry. Well, not dry. The sauce has virtually been absorbed.
Yeah. Can you see mine as well?
Okay.
Check it out.
Okay, great. I think you can probably turn it off actually if you want to.
Yeah, it's off.
Okay. I'm going to turn mine off as well. So as you can see, it's a very similar, in many ways, the process is very similar to what how we would make a Malaysian curry as well, where again, we're frying off our paste ingredients until there's separation between paste and oil, which is how you also tell that the paste ingredients are. So it's very important for you to cook your paste through because you have a lot of raw ingredients in it. It sounds pedantic to say it, but a lot of times people don't take the time to do it, and you'll end up with a lot of raw flavor in your final dish, which you don't want. Okay.
Yeah, oil's starting to leak out over here.
Okay, great.
It's a crisp, as my Malaysian roost would say.
Okay. Oh, I don't know about yours, Paul, but mine smells awesome. It smells really yummy. Okay. So the next thing, so what we're going to add to this before we add the chicken is we've got our coconut milk and we've got our fish sauce as well. Now, the amount of fish sauce that you use really comes down to your personal taste. And and also whether or not you're
4
going to leave it
tablespoons.
overnight. Well, if you leave it overnight, you can tend to get away with it being slightly saltier, simply because it will rest in the fridge and the flavors will meld a little bit more. Just bear in mind, you have added a little bit to your chicken beforehand, so that is slightly seasoned. And don't forget that your shrimp paste also adds quite a bit of salt as well. So I'm gonna, I've got about an extra tablespoon. But again, it comes down to your own personal taste. Okay, I'm gonna add my. So tell me, is your oil looking nice and green? That's the next question.
Yeah, this angle's not doing it any justice. Let me see if you can see better from there.
Ah, excellent. Okay, so I'm going to add my coconut milk. Again, it's 200 mils, about half a can's worth. And this is obviously in addition to our cream that we've added earlier. There. And then I'm going to turn up the heat slightly. Just to bring it back up. I'm going to add my fish sauce. And this will come back to boil, and then we're going to tip in. So once it comes back to the boil, we're going to tip in our chicken. Now, we're going to tip in the chicken, all of it. In the spices, the aromatics, the liquid, whatever's left is going to go into the curry paste.
Okay, I'm basically ready to go. It's starting to boil.
Okay, awesome. Right, so I'm just going to get this and slide it in.
Sorry,
Okay.
you can't see anything. I'm just left-handed.
Okay. Okay, then we want to just let this come up to the boil, and we're going to cook it for about 10 minutes or so. So I'm now going to also add my peppercorns and my lime leaves. Oh, my wonderful lime leaves. If you'd like, just to get more flavor, you can also just pinch your lime leaves in the center across the stem. Then that will just actually release a little bit extra flavor as well. I'm personally of the opinion you can never have too many lime leaves.
Until one day you wake up and all there is lime leaves. The world's been
Well,
taken over.
I can't tell you how excited I am about my lime leaf tree. So yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah,
That's
the
just gonna
peppercorn.
Oil, and then I'm also just going to add in my green beans as well. Now you see again, the chicken is already cooked, so you don't have to worry about that. It's really just about the sauce amalgamating with the chicken and all coming together. And you want it to reduce down a little bit as well. So I've got mine on a medium-high heat. So I'm dipping in my green beans. And that's pretty much it. How's it
Looks
smelling?
like it. Jeez, you don't want to know. It's smelling great.
Oh, good, 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 good.
Oh.
You'll never be able to order. You'll never be able to order Thai green curry again.
Unless you go to Thailand.
Ah, that's it. Hi, Hasinda. Hi. Thanks for joining us. Well, that said, you've got to be careful in Thailand too. So I've been to Thailand with my partner, as we all know, who doesn't like food in general. So
I was gonna say food.
invariably, we've always ended up in Western Thai restaurants. And seriously, no, you want to avoid it. It's very much dumbed down for local flavors. And you know, they don't blink an eye when my partner's like, okay, I want fried rice, I don't want prawns, I don't want ginger, I don't want garlic, I don't want, and they're like, okay, sir, okay, I'm thinking, oh my, this is not any way you want to be eating.
Here's nourishment in a pill, take it, sir, just go.
Yeah. So again, as you cook it down, just make sure the bottom doesn't burn. So Paul, you may just want to put your spatula to the bottom and give it a little bit of a wiggle.
Yeah, no, it's still good, thankfully. I've got a pretty low heat, even though it's boiling.
Yes, just be careful. Even at a low heat, it does have a propensity for burning. I think it also is to do with the amount of coriander that we're using as well. That catches quite quickly. So just be careful.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, just last thing for garnish, as this is finishing off. So what I've done is I've kept a little bit of my coconut milk to one side, which I'm just going to put over the top. I've also got some sliced red chilies for color and a little bit extra coriander as well, just to give it a little bit of freshness. And yeah, because again, I'm into my coriander. So.
Let me just handle that quickly.
I must say, I'm so pleased that my camera's pointing this way, because if it was pointing the other way, you would see the carnage on the other side. That's not looking great. Okay,
how is it coming?
Oh, yum, yum. Okay, I've got just enough of this. I don't want to add any more. And I think the flavor from the fresh lime leaves is just coming through like anything.
I can imagine.
So what are you busy doing now?
I'm just cutting up the chilies. Sorry, I would move the camera,
cool.
but I'm a bit lazy.
Okay.
If you want to see, I will just give you a little.
Excellent. Good. Awesome. Brilliant. Okay, so you know when the curry, so I think your curry is actually virtually done. Mine, so what we're waiting for is just for the bubbles to start producing some oil around them. Once that happens, you then pretty much show you're ready to go. Now, don't freak out if what happens is that often a lot of the oil, the very green verdant oil, will rise to the top, and it's fine. Don't worry too much about it. If you do keep it overnight and you're not so keen on the oil, just before you reheat it, if you keep it in the fridge, just scoop some of the oil off using a spoon. Don't take all of it. I beseech you, don't take all of it. The oil is a large part of the flavor, which is very much obvious by the fact it turns this wonderful green color.
Yeah, I know. Like, you can see it on the edges of the pan.
Yeah, a little bit of oil goes a long way in terms of flavor. Okay. Oh my gosh, Paul's already dishing up.
No, you can't prove anything.
Oh, I saw it. Paul's already eating his, just so you know. You can go. If we start sounding a bit muffled, we know why. Just going to turn mine up a bit, just because I want to finish it off. So let me get my very large plate. Oh, I'm sorry, I've got fresh coriander all over the place. Yeah. Okay, that's mine done. I think my fellow villagers are going to be very happy with their present.
Indeed. Okay, let me just dish up the other one, and then I'll show you what it looks like.
Awesome.
Jack, he's still around. I actually can't see the bottom of the.
Yes, I am.
What's his name?
Oh, Jack is back.
Ah, there we are.
We want to see you eat this, Paul. I missed part of this, but did you put chicken powders?
I was tempted to, but I thought I was going to get off the
Not on my watch, he didn't.
I was being chased around by Liam. Just holding a look on his face.
Now you're going to have to deal with me.
I was going to say, no, he probably
I can never win.
us with some witty banter and slipped it in.
Yeah, I was hoping for it.
I was going to say, off camera, I've already had a good taste.
How was it?
It's pretty damn good. I mean, it blows any Thai green curry I've ever had at a restaurant away.
Oh, there you go. Way.
That's my little happy dance.
I don't think I've ever made this.
I was gonna say, I don't know if Liam's recipe was the reason why, though. You know.
It's your skill, right, Paul?
Exactly. I was gonna say, I have to say, like, basically every single recipe we've done on from Liam's blog has turned out super deliciously. So I'm waiting the one day we're gonna get surprised by something that when you were starting out you didn't get completely right yet, or is everything just amazing?
No, of course not. Okay, ready for the reveal.
Turn this around. Not dropping it on the ground.
Wow.
That looks fancy.
Very fancy.
Probably about head height. Tell me if you can see me.
We can see you. A chair. That's a good idea for the world's tallest man. That does help.
I brought it specifically for that purpose. I've been keeping it hiding behind camera here the whole time, just so like I could pull it out there and let me get a good one. You know, I can't find anything today. Like, I don't know what I've been up to.
Spoons. You need a spoon.
A spoon and a fork. These things, right, Nama?
Yes, well done. Jackie, did you see his very, very ingenious pestle and mortar?
Yeah.
Very clever. I'm a little disturbed by the fact that they had an empty bottle of ketchup just randomly still in the cupboard. I think someone needs to go food shopping.
Possibly. Give me 1 second.
No, I didn't cook rice, unfortunately, because I'm actually not making this for me. I'm making this firstly for you guys, and secondly for some of my neighbors who are, some of them are moving today and things. So I thought I would package it up, make some rice later, and give it to them so they can have something for dinner tonight without having to worry about cooking. So, yeah, this is my charity.
Are you not keeping anything for yourself?
Yes, of course. Little bit. Not that generous. But this is the definition of current flavor in a new village.
I was going to say, so I'm gonna have to ask. So basically, if people are moving out, does that mean that basically 90% of your village is changing?
No, shame. They're actually moving 2 doors down. They couldn't bear to leave. So, yeah.
Oh, my Lord.
Okay, taste it.
I don't know how far away I am from the camera. Should I come a little closer?
No, taste it.
That's pretty good.
Does it have sugar in it? Does it, like, I don't. No? Okay.
No, there's absolutely no sugar involved. In fact, this is a very Paul dish, not a bit of sugar in the slightest.
Yeah. True, right? Yeah.
I think a lot of sweetness comes from the coconut milk, especially for the aspect where we cook the chicken down first. Because you're reducing the coconut milk so much, it does have a sweetness to it, but you don't have to add any to it.
Right. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give this a shot because I'm very Malaysian. I'm very like hardcore Malaysian. So anything that diverts from my tunnel vision Malaysian thing, like, don't know about it.
I always feel very bad. If you look at my blog, there's lots of different recipes. I mean, obviously, I'm primarily Malaysian orientated, but yeah, I certainly try lots of different things. And I'm all over the place when it comes to trying different food and different places. And, you can't frown upon it unless you know how to cook it properly yourself.
Yeah. No, I agree. No, I'm going to like expand my repertoire, but yeah, I always come back to Malaysian.
I was going to say, expand it like a rubber band, but come back.
Yeah, exactly. Just like
So you
that.
can't go wrong with a CKT.
No, you can't. I'm just going to stand here like this now for a while, and just so people can see.
Looks amazing. Well, thank you so much, guys. It was really entertaining, very educational as well. That's the great thing about these guys. Like Liam's always very educational with his content, sort of thing. So we love you guys, and guys, don't forget to sign up to our website, malaysianchefs.com/join today if you want our recipes. Also, Liam's recipes over at themuddledpantry.com. I'm so late with the Matjon recipes already, so I'm not going to make Liam send me his recipe. But you can if you want, and I'll throw on MOMC. Yeah. And I'll get around to throwing it up on our members area. And but thank you guys so much.
And what Matt John people heads will just explode because it's a Thai recipe.
Yeah, I know.
Cat amongst the pigeons.
what I'm planning to not cook today.
No, precisely. I need some troll, so this is a good way of doing it.
Yeah. All right. Thanks again so much, guys. And a special shout out to Haslina, who helped with the Matjon recipes in formatting them and all that sort of stuff. I still haven't gone and done my part to finish it off yet, so I'm sorry for the delay, everyone. But yeah, thanks again so much, everyone. And we will be back in 2 days on Friday for another session of Matjon, this time with Chef Joe. Okay, I wonder if he will still be in Pulau Redang. Have a great night, Hamima. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we will bump out as usual with Tourism Malaysia. So you can dream now and travel later. Ciao, everyone.
Bye.
Ha ha ha!